Savage. Man decapitates his pregnant girlfriend, ending the lives of both. Alright everybody, there's no sugarcoating this one. This crime is so abhorrent and sickening it's hard to imagine anyone is capable of such horrific actions. Unfortunately, it's certainly not the first time and won't be the last. Please be warned, this episode includes details of a decapitation of a pregnant woman. Viewer discretion is advised. And probably gonna be some strong language. On June the 9th, 2022, a lady named Heidi Knoll made the worst discovery of her life. She had not heard from her 8-month pregnant 22-year-old daughter for a couple of days. Concerned something was wrong, she decided to head over to her daughter's apartment on Bolivar Street around 1 p.m, only to find her own child dead on the floor, headless, with an unborn child still inside of her. Oh my god, absolutely unimaginable, the utter horror. But who would do such a gruesome, insensitive and heedless act on an 8-month pregnant 22-year-old? This was a personal murder. Liese Dodd was excited to be a mother. She was about to throw a baby shower for her little girl, lovingly named by her and her family as Baby Bean. Her mother, Heidi, had actually already sent out the baby shower invitations the Saturday before. How incredibly sad, you guys. And instead of that day being her baby shower, it would actually end up being the celebration of Liese Dodd's life. Described as a very giving person by her mum, a smile that lit up the room and always there to lend a helping hand to anyone in need. She had a big heart and she felt like she had a blessed life and she wanted to share those blessings with everyone around her, spreading joy to whoever she met. Liese had a special place in her heart for animals and cared a lot for them. For example, on her 10th birthday, instead of asking for gifts like many children, she instead chose to organise a fundraiser for Riverbend Humane Society for the welfare of animals. She was a happy, sassy, loving young woman with her whole life ahead of her, and just weeks before her due date, all of her and her family's hopes and dreams of seeing little baby Bean grow up and witness the mother that Liese was destined to be was stolen, ripped away in an instant by a vicious monster. Unfortunately though, he was no stranger. This monster was invited into the home by the mother-to-be and trusted. But what he did to her was unthinkable, unforgivable, and just crazy. This vicious beast is 25-year-old Deundrea Holloway, Liese's on-again, off-again boyfriend, and surprise, surprise, you guys, not the father to the baby. I say that just because of the callous way he murdered them both. I just knew he held zero feelings for the unborn child, for Baby Bean. They had been seeing each other for around 2 years at this point, but Heidi, Liese's mum, was aware of the volatile relationship they shared, and being the caring mother, she would keep in constant contact with her daughter daily. This is how she noticed no reply from her text the night before, and this triggered Heidi to go to the apartment and inspect further. But she wished she didn't, as she never expected what she would find in that room. She knew instantly that her daughter was beyond help and exited immediately. I cannot imagine what this poor woman has suffered through since that day. Her own daughter beheaded on the floor with Baby Bean still inside of her belly. What would lead anyone to do such a thing? And what must that scene have looked like? Extremely bloody, surely. And her mother found her that way. No mother should ever have to bury their child, but to have to bury their child, their grandchild, and find them in such a disgusting manner, it's unthinkable what people do. Deundrea was always a controlling boyfriend, wanting to know Liese's every move, and in the year before the murders, there had been 3 significant occurrences where Deundrea had physically abused his girlfriend. Her family tried their best to intervene, whilst also not losing their daughter. I'm sure many people know what I mean. It's a delicate line. When someone finds themselves in such a controlling, abusive relationship, they often try to then cut that person off from their family, so their loved ones always have to act with caution. And she was a 22-year-old at this point. Her mother couldn't stop her from seeing Deundrea. It's unclear what actually led to this horrific act, but some people are just completely insane. Chief Marcos Pulido of the Alton Police Department was visibly affected by this senseless crime against an innocent woman and her baby, speaking about what they had to witness that day. And remember, her mother found her this way.
Last week, June 9th, at about 12:59 p.m., the Alton Police Department did respond to a residence in the 3400 block of Boulevard Street in reference to a possible homicide. What was observed, what was learned, what was found is absolutely terrible. Every murder is absolutely terrible. But what happened to 22-year-old Liese Dodd is beyond irreprehensible. It's abominable. It is completely terrible what happened to her. Deundrea Holloway, 22 years of age, has been charged with her murder. What Deundrea Holloway, and it's probably the last time I'm going to use his name, and you will know whenever I'm referring to him, but what that monster was charged with today, about what she went through, can make some people just completely lost for words. That monster, that savage monster, has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of intentional homicide of an unborn child, dismembering a human body, I'll say that again, dismembering a human body, offenses relating to motor vehicles, and concealment of a homicidal death. She was savagely killed. She was decapitated. Decapitated by a freaking savage monster. Her unborn child was also killed as a result of this. So she was brutally murdered, as well as her unborn child. Now the family was planning a funeral because of what a monster did. Irreprehensible. What a savage monster did to her. Her mother had to go through something that nobody should ever have to go through. But her mother, not heard from her in a little bit, and wanted to go check on her to see if she was okay, and found her in a way that you can't imagine.
You can clearly see just how deeply it has affected this man. Just imagine what her mother is going through. Losing her child and her grandchild in one vile swoop. They had only just moved into that apartment on Bolivar Street, or Bolivar? On Bolivar Street. This should have been the beginning of Lee's and baby Bean's life, but instead of a baby shower, her family had a funeral to plan. After Deundrea decapitated the mother-to-be, he disgustingly made the decision to wrap her head in a bag and literally threw it in the trash. Abhorrent. Crazy. That is not human. That is a monster. He would later be arrested for stealing a bike, and Deundrea Holloway was held on a $2 million bond. Good. Liese's head would be found in a dumpster outside her own residence. How could someone do such a thing? I've seen something about Deundrea finding out he wasn't the father was the reason for his actions, but that is just facts and probably just speculation. People trying to find a reason for his wicked acts. But honestly, there's not always an answer to these decisions that people make. You will never be able to get in the mind of someone like that. And you don't want to, really. He ended 2 beautiful lives that day. One that never even had a chance. Details of how haven't been released. The vicious killer tried to claim mental illness, blaming his unthinkable crime on failures in the system. He said, "I'm not a monster." Apparently, his own mother even begged him to break up with Liese before the brutal attack, which just shows how deeply tumultuous it really was. There was even claims that he had a demon in his mind. His stepfather said he had extreme paranoia, making him believe everyone was after him, even his own family. He also claimed in a video that he made that Deundrea is not a monster. Well, I think a lot of people will beg to differ when they know what he did. Cutting off a pregnant woman's head and letting the baby die inside her. No normal person would ever do that. Whether this crime was linked to mental illness or not has not been proven or proved. Thankfully, the one good thing was that Deundrea did plead guilty to first-degree murder of Liese Dodd, intentional homicide of an unborn child, and concealment of a homicidal death, so the family was saved from a detailed and emotional trial. But there would be several years of delays in legal proceedings, dragging out the pain for her family and loved ones. So on 2 counts of murder for the savage act that took 2 lives that day, Deundrea Holloway would receive 60 years in a state correctional facility for slaying Liese Dodd and baby Bean. He must serve 52 years of his sentence before he would be eligible for release. Should he ever be eligible for release, guys? What do you think? In court, Heidi Knoll said, "On that night, I received a life sentence to live the remainder of my life without my beautiful, loving, sassy daughter. A life without knowing the joy of watching Liese raise my granddaughter." How heartbreaking, you guys. A GoFundMe was set up and raised around $16,000, maybe more, which paid for the funeral expenses, plus the family chose to donate $5,000 to the Oasis Women's Centre, Alton, which is an organisation helping domestic violence victims. And knowing Liese's love and devotion to animals and the welfare charity, they also chose to donate $2,000 to the Riverbend Humane Society. How lovely. And I'm sure she would have been happy with that decision. So Deundrea Holloway now faces the next at least 52 years behind bars, if he makes it that long. Because I can assure you, baby killers do not get respect in jail. Hopefully, karma will get him at some point during that sentence. May Liese Dodd and baby Bean rest in peace, together, forever. At least they were never separated, and never will be. My thoughts are with their loved ones. What an absolutely crazy and unthinkable crime. What do you guys think? Do you think Deundrea deserved the death sentence? Do you think he should ever have a chance at parole? And do you think he's a monster? Thank you everybody for watching and joining me for this episode today. I hope you enjoyed it, even though it was an awful, awful crime. I like to bring a whole mix of different true crime and murder and other things on my channel as well. So if you'd like to go and check some of my other stuff out, and please comment and like and subscribe if you enjoyed and would like to see more. Take care and stay safe out there, guys. Random Jan.